Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to the Pivotal Podspective, the show, of course, where we get extraordinaires from all over the globe to come and chat with us all about things that they've done or things that they're doing or pivotal ways that we can all learn from, including both Adrian and I, because we're on a quest to find these things, aren't we, my friend?
Exactly, we're on a pirate quest, to the pivotal pirate quest to find these things.
Hey, I like that. I'm your host, Elliot Brown, of course, with my wonderful co-host,
Adrian Dorobantu.
And we have a guest this evening, a very special guest, who was on The Apprentice last year. In fact, he was in the final 5. So we're going to be chatting about The Apprentice and all the way to disruptive marketing as well. And so we have a little small technical hitch, but Ellis is going to be joining us shortly. So let me just tell you a little bit about Lewis if you never saw him on last year's show. We just had a quick chat with him, didn't we? We had a bit of a technical issue, didn't we?
Yeah, exactly. But there was a few very interesting characters last year on The Apprentice 2019 here in the UK. If you're watching from everywhere else, this is the UK Apprentice, the BBC's The Apprentice, of course. And Lewis reached the final 5 in a bid to get the 250 grand of Lord Sugar's money as an investment into his business. Unfortunately, he didn't get through. We're going to find out a little bit more about that as we go through the show. But since then, he's returned to the marketing industry, which he was already in that already, and with his own digital agency, with a difference, but bringing his well-known disruptive personality into that to liven things up. Because he said he was fed up with the uninspired, tedious, and quite simply boring marketing, which, let's face it, there's a lot of marketing companies out there that have been a little bit like that. Now, I can see from below in the green room, Lewis is joining us. So without further ado, I should say, the chief noisemaker, as he classed himself at Hussel Marketing, and hidden travel as well. So we're gonna bring him on. Without further ado, here's Lewis Ellis.
What was that about? That was over the top, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. Adrian thinks we should take it down, to be honest, and change it.
No, I think we should change that with some sexy babes, but that was the only thing. More like more animated ones, more 3D ones.
Let's not be sexist here. We can't have just sexy babes, can we? Can have sexy guys and sexy babes these days.
Well, actually, you're the one assuming that he was talking about girls.
This is a good point. It's a very good point, Lewis.
Thanks, Lewis. Thanks.
It looked like we sorted the technical issue out. You're with us now, aren't you? That works much better.
Yeah, well, I don't know what it's doing, but if it goes, I'll just pop out and come back in. But I think it's fine now. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cool.
If it goes, probably we can just try maybe just audio, see if that stays for a few minutes, and then we know what's the issue now.
Listen, we're fucking renegade here anyway, so we just crack on. It doesn't matter.
The norm, basically, no? Or
yeah. Yeah, fuck the norm, exactly. Welcome to the show, Lewis. How you doing?
Good. I know. I'm a little bit jealous. I want a stand-up microphone like you've got. You see, you can move around when you talk, and I feel like you sat down, you're sort of restricted, aren't you? But if you stood up, you can bounce around a little bit.
Yeah, I started off sat down, and now I've got the same boom arm, but it's coming off the sort of the table in front of me, and I feel a lot freer. But yeah, it's much nicer doing it this way. I find it's more natural, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, I'm fine. Thank you very much. It's I've been sat at a computer screen all day staring at it, so it's nice to have a little bit of a break, to be honest. Just a break away from what I'm up to today. But yeah,
good.
All right.
Good. And you're in Lancashire. Whereabouts are you?
Well, I'm from Haslingden. It's called. It's near Bury.
Okay.
But I'm over near Manchester at the moment. So.
Okay. So if people don't know outside of the UK, then this is up north in the UK. Hence the slight difference in accent, but that you wouldn't notice.
No, not at all. Not really. Anyway.
So listen, I've got to ask straight off. Fuck the norm. What? This is a thing that this is part of your sort of personal branding, right?
Yeah, well, you know what? This started during lockdown when I wanted to do something a little bit fun, and I was obviously restricted from what I could get up to and who I could meet. So I started doing like a little podcast series and filming it and putting it on YouTube and on Spotify and podcasts and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's really good actually. It's great opportunity to meet some cool people, like what you guys are doing right now. You just meet people that you find interesting and ask them questions, etc. I was using it as a bit more like a learning tool. But you're right. Fuck the norm is basically kind of an ethos. It's more of my personal motto now, because I got sick to death of being told to act a certain way, told I had to behave a certain way, and so far every time I've ignored that advice, I've been successful in whatever I've set out to do. So I've decided to stick with it. To be honest, I've got this new. I keep saying the same thing, but I keep saying if you give me advice about anything, whatever topic it is, unless you've done it before, your advice is dog shit to me. And it's very rude to say it like that. But to be honest, I've just come to a point in my life where I don't care. Unless you've done it, I have no time for you. And that's just kind of how I'm my modus operandi at the moment.
I think even if someone did it, that doesn't necessarily mean they've done it good. So their advice could still be shit. So yeah.
They'll have lessons to share, though. They'll have it'll be through direct experience as opposed to just guessing. I feel like a lot of people have an opinion, don't they? People have an opinion about everything. It's like
I think I found that people start to have opinions without being asked.
Exactly. It's like you don't want to listen to. I always say, I'll hear it, but I won't listen.
Yeah,
that's kind of fuck the norm right now. That's how I'm working.
I love that, and it's refreshing as well. But and you're absolutely right as well. There's plenty of people out there with advice that have been on a course, and we've spoken about this in so many times doing these podcasts and these shows. That how many coaches are out there that have been on a course and suddenly become a bloody business coach or a sports coach or whatever other coach? Yeah, they don't have any experience in that area, but because they've been taught it and they've been given a process of how you get yourself out there, suddenly they're the fucking expert, aren't they? And you're right. I'm sick to death of hearing from people like that as well.
Yeah. Well, it's this sort of thing, isn't it, where everyone wants to be some sort of personal speaker. Everyone wants to be known for something, and unfortunately, a lot of people talk about topics where you're right. They just listen to someone else pitch them, and then they're going around trying to sell that idea or that whatever they've learned. It happens a lot with things like your pyramid schemes and that sort of bollocks.
Yeah.
But to be honest, it comes down to the fake guru culture that's been created. Mike Winnet calls it entrepreneurs, and to be honest, it's just getting a bit annoying now. So I'll only listen to people that have actually done something, whether they failed at it or succeeded. I'm not going to listen to anyone's advice unless you've done it, physically done it.
Yeah, I like that. And you've done a few things, my friend, haven't you? You've done a few bits and pieces recently. Let's get the Lord Sugar bits out of the way. So let's
elephant in the room.
Yeah. Because it's not about while we're on the show. I'm more interested in about where you are now and what you've been doing. But I've got to ask you. I spoke to you on the phone. We had a bit of a conversation, and you said actually the useful thing was you get media training from it. And I mean, that was a bit that landed with me. That must have been pretty useful for doing what you're doing now with videos and stuff, and become such a big thing this year as well. What was your take from that? Is it the media training and stuff that you sort of took from doing the show?
To be honest, do you know what? Like ever since I was a kid, I've always been quite comfortable talking to large groups of people. I mean, I was a holiday rep for going on 6 years, right? So I was always meeting groups of people and selling to them and standing in front of them, doing big open welcome meetings, that sort of stuff. So I was always comfortable talking, but it's very different talking to people directly versus talking to people on a camera or engaging people through social media, etc. Something I learned or got used to pretty quick was being on camera 24/7 and having to deal with that and talking a certain way and put forward enthusiasm and all that sort of stuff. You don't really think about. And kind of learn to talk to the camera like it was a real person. So actually, one of the biggest valuable things I took away from being involved in the show was the ability to just, I don't know, I'm just used to it now. I feel like it's just normal. Like even when I was younger, I tried doing things like little YouTube videos and stuff. And if I look back on them now, I can see how different I am now. I've grown up. Now that could just be through confidence as you grow older, but I honestly believe the show, a big part of that was that help. Was the actual interaction and the camera work and that sort of stuff. And then on top of that, like you said, the media training and being able to learn how to, deal with things like criticism, deal with people like negative press, all that sort of crap. Things that you would never experience in 9 till 5 or anywhere in your life usually. So it was, that sort of stuff was quite cool to learn.
Yeah, I mean, and the show itself, was it fun to do it? I mean, or did you enjoy doing the show?
Yeah, no, I actually had a blast. To be honest, I really enjoyed it. Towards the end, it got a bit tedious. You know, it was like, oh, boring, this, and that. Like, because the first 4 or 5, 6, 7 things, you're like, yeah, this is quite cool. And then after a while, you're like, I cannot be asked to wake up tomorrow morning and go and do this again. So actually, the further through you get, the more like tedious it gets. But to be honest, it was fun. Do you know what I mean? It was interesting. It was different. I'm glad I took part in it. I'm glad I took part in it.
Yeah, I don't think you went to the Rise of the Foot Soldier premiere, did you? You didn't go to that last year because I met some of the guys that were there. Is it Jemina? Was it and a few of the guys there were at the Rise of the Foot Soldier premiere, which I was.
I feel like I did, but I feel like.
Well, how did I not bump into you then? Because I was on the dance floor, like we were messed. It was a messy night at that point. To be fair,
I don't want to say it was a bad film, but. No, I'm joking. I remember going there and then being like, it's not really my sort of thing. So I think I bounced and then went to a bar. We went to the bar inside and all that, and then just sort of bounced somewhere else.
Oh, I missed you then. It was a funny night. But yeah, the film itself, it is what it is. You know, I mean, it is. They're bringing another one out soon. But anyway, that's by the by.
I think it's just I've never really watched that sort of stuff before. I think you have to watch the other ones to understand what's going on.
You probably do. You probably do. Yeah. But all good. I mean, and it was quite good. It was quite a good sort of group, wasn't it? You know, last year there was a few interesting characters. So it was cool. But listen. That's that, you know, that was that. That sort of got you, probably helped you get you out there a little bit as well, I would have thought.
Do you know what's weird about it, right? Honestly, because obviously people see it in October, don't they? So that was like a year ago now, to date from when people saw it. We filmed in the summer, so that was like, you know, February, March, April, like March, April. I think it was like March time. Yeah. So it's nearly like a year and a half ago for me. Yeah. So we're talking about it feels so weird now because
it's a long time ago.
I was 28 then. I'm 30 now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's just weird. Yeah. But it's still quite relevant, isn't it? Because it's technically less than 12 months, so it was on TV, and that it's going to repeat quite a bit on TV this year, I think. So it'll be people will be asking me about it again, and I'll be like, I can't remember anymore.
Yeah.
It's not that long ago.
But prior to that, though, you're already in marketing, right?
That's right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So obviously on your LinkedIn, it mentions that you sort of returned to marketing.
That's right.
You didn't really leave it though, did you? You never really leave these things, do you?
No. So before we went into the show, I was actually working at an agency. I was just a project manager, you know, like dealing with clients, selling projects into clients, dealing with like sitting with them and going, right, this is what we need to fix. And then working with the teams to do those fixes. So basically, you know, sort of managing clients and the teams behind the scenes. Then I was always freelancing anyway. So even for years before that, I'd already started freelancing with Hussel. It wasn't called Hussel actually at first, but
well, I gather that.
Yeah, Hussel was called. What was it called? Why? I love it. My names for stuff are ridiculous, by the way. So Wise Guys Marketing, right? So Wise Guys Marketing, what it was going to be was we were going to show up to the office. If you had a problem with your marketing, you're going to hit the phones, right? There'd be a website you go to, and all it has on there is a phone number. You ring this phone number, and like within 24 hours, a limousine will be outside, and these guys in suits will be inside the limousine, and you come outside your office, and you're sitting there like a little mafiosa meeting. Yeah. And I wanted to have this sort of theatrical process because I thought marketing agencies are just so damn boring. They're honest kill me. Like working with them even in-house as a marketing manager used to make me want to shoot myself. So I thought if I ever do a marketing company, it's not going to be boring. I refuse. So I wanted this like gangster themed, like the office would be a roaming limousine and like everyone would be in suits and pimp hats. And that was why it was got Wise Guys Marketing.
I love it.
I love it. I still love it. Like I'm thinking, how can I incorporate this into my current? But the point that the reason I mentioned that is because you can already see the sort of foundations set in place that I was doing things different. I didn't want to do things the same. So yeah, that Wise Guys was around, and then it became Hussel Marketing, and it's sort of been a freelance project on the side of my jobs to make some extra cash, but mainly to learn how to deal with clients, learn how to write contracts, learn how to pitch for business, all those sorts of things you would never learn in house. Because the idea was I was one day going to start a marketing agency. That was the plan.
Good. Well, listen, we've just got a couple of little comments here. Listen, my biggest fan, my mum, of course, saying hi, Adrian, and myself and guest. It's not just a guest. This is Lewis, for God's sake, Mum.
Hello, Mum.
Nicola Buckby, being a holiday rep gives you great experience and exposure to delivering sales pitches to a challenging audience. Yeah, I'd agree with that, wouldn't you?
I fully agree with that. I think, do you know what, right? It's so underrated because you don't realize at the time, you're dealing with all sorts of different issues. You're running from hospital, you've got a bar crawl on, then someone falls off a roof, and you got to go from party mode to dealing with people nearly dying mode, and then the hospital visits and people falling out and stabbings and all sorts of things that happen in these resorts that are quite scary and that you don't really see as a tourist. And dealing with that at 18 years old, like shit, I got set up for life there, like in terms of skills and learning to think fast on your feet and be able to go drunk, sober really quick. Loads of things have happened since that. I attribute to the fact that I learned those skills as a kid.
And are you good from going drunk to sober really quickly now?
Yeah, not anymore. Now I seem to go from drunk to floor. I don't know where the sober came in. But yeah, like in terms of like the party mode thing is very interesting because you never experience this unless you're a rep. Like you got to be the life of the party, right? You got to be on it. You got to be dancing bigger than anyone. You got to be getting the ones that are quiet in the corner up on the dance floor. It sounds silly, but that's what your job was. It was if they weren't having a good night, you were going to get a shit customer service questionnaire because they were going to go, my rep was boring. So you have to be in that mindset. And then so when something happens, you've got a really fast flick and you've got to be able to deal with it. Like, okay, we need an ambulance. I need to get the manager down here to deal with this. I need someone to come and cover these 300 people and take them over there. And at one point, actually, in Iron Appa, I was tangent now. We had the mafia roll up in Jeeps outside. No shitting you, yeah? They jumped off in Balaclava and started smashing this bar up. And we had 300 guests behind us. Now we were like about to go into this bar and I was just like, okay, we're going to go this way, everybody. And like, as we're walking away, you can see baseball bats going through windows. It wasn't like anyone was in danger. It was just like a kind of a threat, I think.
Yeah. They had clearly had an issue with the bar owners, obviously.
Yeah, but this is the sort of things that, different countries have different cultures and different ways of dealing with things. And it's very interesting to get involved in that sort of stuff.
I love that. I wasn't expecting that story. That's perfect. Nicola Buckley says 100%. So we're talking about the audience and, Mum said hi now. I mean, she spelt The Apprentice wrong, but we can forgive her that. She's Dutch.
I love the fact your mum's like your biggest fan. My mum gets embarrassed at my stuff. I remember when the camera crew came around to the house to film her, and she was like, I don't want to be on camera. I was like, no worries. You do it next time I'm on TV in front of millions of people, Mum. Don't worry about it. Just don't worry. You don't have to be on there talking about me at all. Don't even mention that you're proud. She's just like, but I don't want to do it. And they're stepping all over my carpet. I was like, when the fuck are we ever going to have a film crew in their house just asking you about, like, ridiculous? Well, at least your mum supports you.
Well, she has to. I mean, somebody's got to, haven't they? Do you know what I mean? You've definitely got a load of life, my friend. Loads of life. I love that. So right, I want to. So Hussel. I mean, Adrian's definitely going to want to know this because listen, what you've said about marketing and being boring and people. Listen, as you said before, there's loads of people out there say they can do shit, right? And there's lots of marketing guys as well that because social is an easy way to start marketing with people that suddenly think they're fucking like marketing geniuses, right? Again, they go on a course. You clearly aren't like that. But what is it that you do differently? What is it that you like to do that's different to the sort of norm?
To be honest, when I say disruptive marketing and fuck the norm, and all it means is that we look at what best practice is and we make sure we're doing best practice, yeah? Now, that is where every other agency generally stops. They just do the best that they can do in terms of what. So they'll go, right, the best way to run these ads is to target these demographics and put this much money into it. We can expect these conversions. We run it. We get that result. Perfect. Everyone's happy. Now, that's just like this. Everyone's doing that. All the agencies will come in and go, right, the best way to do that is this way. They don't look at it and go, okay, that's the best way to do it. Now, how can we stand out? How can we make your business stand out? Okay, is there a way we can do it better? So that's the benchmark for best practice. What about doing it really interesting, really good, and really, really stand out, really make some noise? And sometimes it's a bit scary. Or what if we use these platforms? Now, a lot of agencies don't want to do that because it's a bit more effort, isn't it, right? You've got to go, well, actually, you might not make money, but we can run Facebook and Instagram ads, but have you tried TikTok? They don't want to go, have you tried TikTok ads or have you tried LinkedIn? Because it's a risk and the client might not be happy with the return. So therefore, it's just easier to do the best practice. Same with like websites. Same with everything. And one thing as well that I noticed about digital agencies is that they all focus on just the digital products, which is obvious because that's what they are, digital marketers. But I try and look at the business from past the screen. Okay, what What sort of service does that customer enjoy when they go through sale, post-sale? What sort of marketing do you do in-house to keep your business and people, the stakeholders, up to date on what's happening? And just look at the whole fucking strategy and go, can we do it better? Now, it's silly, but most agencies don't do that. They just don't, because a lot of the time they're working on, they have volume, so they have to have a lot of clients to make a lot of money.
Yeah. And
with that, obviously, comes the fact that you've got to manage those clients and allocate time. The second thing I noticed was that a lot of the time, these businesses, they will hire staff, and although they position themselves as experts, the people working on the campaigns, they might just be fresh out of university. They might be these fucking idiot guru kids that have done a few social campaigns and think they know what's going on. And a lot of the time, I noticed the guys that are running the campaigns, they might have hands-on experience, but actually they don't understand the theory behind it. And the things that I learned whilst I was studying, to be honest, I thought I'd never use. The models, the buyer behavior, the consumer perceptions, and then on top of all that shit, no one's looking ahead. Because right now it's good, right? Keep it here because we're making money. But actually, how many actually looked ahead and have gone, how can we take advantage of coronavirus for this client and make sure that they survive? Or how can we take advantage of TikTok that's coming down the line, because that's a social platform which actually grows Instagram as well. So could we figure a way of using that? And is there a way that we can open the door? Basically, none of them look at evolving trends. Some of them do, but like most of them don't, because it's just easier to do best practice and just be here right now and change every now and again. That's what I noticed. And I'm not just saying that shit. Like, I've worked with lots of different agencies, and I've worked in a few different agencies, and I spoke to a hell of a lot of marketers and gone to a lot of marketing networking events. And it's just the general consensus I found. And I just thought we were going to do something a bit better. And, I like to come up with weird campaigns and crazy stuff. And sometimes being crazy in an industry which is generically quite boring, it's not even a case of being crazy. It's just, okay, let's do stuff that your competitors aren't willing to do. Let's take advantage. Let's get in front of the camera. If you're a software firm that does computer software, let's get you guys in front of the camera so they can see who's in the business, all that sort of stuff. So disruption isn't necessarily, setting fire to a building and then pissing on it. It's looking at what the traditional norm is, looking at what best practices, and just being better.
Yeah. And it's about putting those things. Adrian, I mean, you're analytical with a real creative side as well. I mean, you've got a lot of that. It resonates with you. I know that for sure.
Yeah, it resonates. It just my problem when I've tried to propose some things like that, it was that some business owners are not willing to do things like they like some of them. They're very, no, my company does this. It has a brand image. I cannot afford to fuck it up or to look different in anyone's eyes and stuff like that. So it's challenging, sometimes when you come with ideas. But me personally as well, I try to look at things, loads of times, just because I know Facebook, it's great. It's still great in Instagram, but at some point something is gonna come. Just TikTok came now, and I'm sure it disrupted things quite a bit. And most people still do not consider TikTok at all. And it's always good to look at things. And for example, my biggest client is a guy that sells pearls jewelries in US. And when COVID came, I've told him, why the fuck you just don't? You should make a COVID virus shape pearl jewelry, sell it with a necklace saying "fuck COVID," right? He loved the idea. All right, he said that's a really crazy idea. I'm not sure if I'm really willing to do that with my company. It's a 20 or 30-year-old company, really in top 3 sellers in US. He presented that to the other staffs in the company, especially the PR guy, and I say, "Fuck no, we're not gonna do that. We're just gonna destroy everything that we built." To me, it looked quite good, It looked quite interesting, but yeah, they were not willing to do it.
My thoughts are so very similar to, you're talking about a guy who's always done things a certain way. So therefore, when it comes to a new thing, he's going, nah, you know what? We're probably happy doing this because we've got our own brand perception and etc. So they just stay on that track, and that's fine as well. And they'll be around, but they won't be around forever. So because they're not evolving and they're not willing to take risks, they probably won't be around forever. Unfortunately, they just won't be. But I think that same sort of mentality applies to a lot of the marketing agencies now, because a lot of the successful marketing agencies, the big ones especially, been around for like 10, 15, 20 years maybe. Yeah. Now look at how much digital has transformed in those 20 years. Call it 15 years for the sake of it. Fuck it, in the last 5 years, it's almost changed.
Yeah, I was going to say the last 5, a massive shift, yeah.
Just because those agencies... So just because those agencies, when they started, were specialists, does not mean they know fuck all about now. The best part about digital marketing is I can come in 5 years ago and I can start doing things, just looking ahead, always learning the next thing. And all of a sudden I can compete with quite big agencies because they can't rest on their laurels. You can't. You've got to like actually be on the ball all the time for your clients. And I'm only going to hopefully attract the clients that are willing to take a risk and are willing to do things differently. And the ones that want to be, are set in a certain way, they'll work with the other guys, and there's market for everyone. I don't see other agencies really as competition, because the way they do things is just not interesting to me. And the companies they work with in that way are also not interesting to me. I always say, come to me when your marketing is tired or uninspired. And I mean that.
And you just add some life to it, give it some va-va-voom.
That's it. Look, I operate a certain way. I think quite weird. I've always been disruptive by nature. Asked my teacher at school, she'd say I was a prick. The point is, like, that's how I work day to day. I know I'm different. I know, and some would say very weird, and some would say almost autistic. It's that strange. But the point is, like, these things that make my personality mean that my approach to marketing is very different. And as a result of that, companies will benefit. That's what I enjoy anyway. And to be honest, I didn't want to fucking start Hussel marketing full time. That wasn't my plan. Right. My plan was to focus on hidden and have a good job and just have nice little steady income. But coronavirus pissed on my chips there, you see. So I had no job all of a sudden, and I'm like, right, well, I either go and work, and try and get a job in like something completely different, like, in a retail store or whatever, just try and survive, or I just use my brain and just start getting creative with marketing. So it's kind of like a real push moment. I got pushed to go full time on my own thing, and I've survived 3 months, nearly 4 months now. And we're not dead yet. We're still eating food. Car's still outside. Bailiffs haven't come in the house.
Good.
So win, right?
We're winning.
Well, I'm living like a student again, which is good, I guess, because I just started making money. So actually, it's probably a good point to not have any money again, because otherwise, if I get used to that lifestyle, I'd never take the leap, right?
Yeah, very true. Yeah. And look, you can only move up. We can only all move up, can't we? Exactly. There's some massive companies out there, mate. They're in the same situation as all of us right now, because of what's been going on. So it doesn't matter how big or small you are. It's almost like there's been a level playing field this year. It's like sort of leveled a lot of things. And in fact, and I had this conversation, I'm sure, with you on the phone, that the situation as micro or small business owners, as we are, and I think our audience has definitely got to, we want to go out to those and help those people. We're able to pivot. We're able to come up with things. We're not stuck in a way. We can do what the fuck we want. And that, I love that. It's exciting. We can really grasp what's going on, as you said. Take advantage of things. I'm not saying in a wrong way take advantage of what's been going on with COVID, but a lot of people are, and a lot of people have done really well out of this as well. So it's exciting times. I'm going to ask you, right? You said maybe slightly autistic. Do you consider yourself as maybe on the spectrum a little bit with the way you think?
Yeah, there is that, is because I've literally looked at the traits and I've looked at my personality and I've gone, there's some fucking alignment there. Yeah. Now I think everyone's on the spectrum a little bit, but there's things that I do and I'm like, that makes sense. So yeah, I genuinely think I'm a little bit on that. And ADHD is something I've definitely not been diagnosed with, but 1,000% I have. There's no question about it. But when I was a kid, that wasn't a thing, right? You were just diagnosed with personality. But now I could have, like, all the free tablets and shit I could have had in school, and just excuses, excuses I could have had to be naughty. Like, I feel like I missed out there.
But now we're classed as adult ADHD these days, isn't it? And quite a few people over the last couple of years that have got to know me on a sort of a business level and knowing me personally definitely said that I've got some traits there as well. Listen, that's just an advantage. It makes us think slightly differently. Adrian, would you consider that you're a little bit different as well?
Yeah, I'm definitely different.
Oh, you're fucking definitely different, my friend.
I haven't looked at things in that way, but yeah, I am in a way different.
I've always had a keen interest in like personality traits and entrepreneur personality traits.
Yeah.
And I don't feel downtrodden or anything when I notice that I'm quirky or weird or maybe I have ADHD or maybe didn't do so well in school at first. And when you look at what a lot of very successful people, how they act and their traits, and they do things differently, and people said what they would do was wrong and all that sort of stuff. It just fuels me, because it's like, actually, I share a lot of common traits, and a lot of like what they do is how I act and how I operate. So actually, maybe I'm doing the right thing. I think that, when you do something different, the bottom line is not everyone's going to agree with what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like, I swear all the time, I've got a mouth like a sailor, but not everyone's going to be like, people go, why would you swear on camera on LinkedIn? I'm like, I don't care. Please kill me now. Like, I can't have this conversation. But the point is, I'm not doing it on purpose. It's just who I am. It's my personality. And I've actually realized that a lot of people won't agree with that. You can't please everyone. So you can only just be yourself, and you can just be unapologetically you. Like I used to blast Disney in the office every day. Every day I put Disney on as loud as I could, and I got told I wasn't allowed to touch the stereo anymore. Right? But I was different. I didn't care. I liked Disney. It was morning. I wanted to wake up, and the best way to do it is with Mulan, or like blast out what's the other one? Beauty and the Beast.
That's really.
And it used to wind everyone up no end. And I was like, I'm just weird. That's just who I am. So I've decided to just accept it now. I'm not going to change. And this is who I am. I'm 30 years old.
Damn right. Definitely, you've got to accept it yourself. I'm house music. Adrian, what are you listening to these days? House music blasts out 24/7 in the office. I can't live without it.
Yeah, usually deep vocal house as well, and some chill music, something like that. Like Buddha bar and stuff like that. Depending what mood I am, to be honest.
I just want to clarify. I don't play Disney every day, all day. I meant I just used to put it on to take the piss and wind everyone up in the office. But, okay, no, I listen to Disney all day.
Yeah, you do.
No, I'm ready for myself. Screw you. I don't care.
No, fuck it. No. Do you listen to music like while you're working though? Do you prefer to listen to it? Because I find if it's too quiet, it fucks me up. I literally it's like somebody's put cotton wool in my head if it's too quiet for too long.
Yeah. No, that's another thing I do quite a lot. If I have to really concentrate, I put headphones on and I'll blast like rock music. You can hear it across the room. It's that loud. Or to concentrate, I go and sit in a really busy cafe. So things like that, yeah. But again, that's more traits.
Yeah,
things they line up places. Yeah, no, it's just I think a lot of these things that we talk about right now are what a lot of business owners do, and a lot of people that are in startups and have that mentality. And there's a reason why when you go to work 9 to 5, you were never happy, or you used to feel like you were out of place, or you didn't give a shit what Sandra brought in for lunch and why she asked you every day. You made you want to fucking question your life choices. People when you're walking like, "What'd you have for lunch?" I'm like, "Does it fucking matter? Like, does it actually matter? Why are you asking me again every day?" It was a tuna sandwich, and I'm sick of actually explaining myself. So these sorts of really boring conversations in the office that made me want to just jump out the window. Like some people are fine with that. For me, I was like, hell no, this isn't for me. Like,
that's funny. And Sandra sounds like she's a real person as well, by the way. Listen, TikTok. We've been talking about this quite a lot recently. When I spoke to you on the phone, you mentioned that you were doing like a crowdsourcing with TikTok. How's that gone? I mean, Adrian, we sort of briefly mentioned this before we started the show. While Lewis decided to have a technical fucking hoo-ha, what's all that about, and how's it gone?
Well, it's still going. It's going to be going for a few years, to be honest. So I had this plan where I was just going to. Well, basically, I need an excuse to make TikToks. So not look stupid. And I was like, what a great way to do it. I just link it to the business, and everyone goes, oh, that's why he's doing it. I'm not doing that. I actually quite enjoy it as a platform. Yeah. I'm playing with it because I want to be ahead of the game, because I know that most people don't dare use it. Therefore, when a client asks you about it, they can't really tell them about it because they don't have any experience. So there's another reason why I'm using it. The TikTok thing was just like, well, I saw a guy a few years ago make $1 million on a website. I was like, wouldn't it be fun to make $1 million through social media? 100,000 through social media. So I decided to do something like 6-figure social, and I just thought, I know what I'll do. I'll charge £100 for a TikTok, and I'll make a TikTok for someone's business. And I'll just keep doing that over and over again until my following grows big enough on TikTok that I can charge more. Now that might never ever get there, and it might never happen, but I just thought I'll just do it, start. I think I have these ideas, and if I don't do them immediately, I regret. Like the podcast, I had an idea, I did it immediately, and now it's a podcast. Like the travel company, everything I've ever done my entire life was an idea, and I just tried it, and if it failed, it failed. So this hasn't failed, and I'm still doing it. I have been really busy this week, though. I've not had time to do the one that I keep meaning to do. And then I'm ready to take on some more little bookings. But 100 quid is fuck all. Do you know what I mean? 100 quid, they get a funny little video. It reaches quite a few people as well. Like the ones on my on the actual TikTok app themselves have reached 400,000 views.
Really?
In a few weeks. Just the 6-figure social ones. So is it worth it? I don't really know. But is it fun? Yeah. And I think people feel like they're actually donating 100 quid to a startup. So it's not really like they expect to get any business out of it. It's sort of like, it's like, I don't know, it's like a charity thing, isn't it? Like it's crowdfunding is what it is. So I'm using Crowdfunder as a platform to collect donations right now. However, to be honest, I don't want to do it on there because I know it'll never hit that target anytime soon. So I'm going to have a little website. I'm going to put TikToks on there over the next few years. I'll just keep doing it and see what happens.
Yeah. Adrian, you were going to use TikTok, weren't you, mate?
Yeah. We have signed that. Well, I've signed up for the advertising account, and at the moment I'm just looking for let's say people that can do really cool videos for this type of industry. But again, it's a bit difficult. Yeah, I will talk with with the owner of the business about Lewis. But yeah, we're looking into that. Although it's as a marketing guy, if you try to do like campaigns and stuff like that, it's a bit different than the others. You need to spend the minimum of, I think, at the moment we have a target of it's $15,000 per month or something like that.
How much?
Yeah, and if you want to have your own manager there, it's something like $30,000 per month and stuff like that. So they have some crazy targets.
It has its own problems as well, where a lot of the advertisements running on TikTok are all spam, fake. So you'll try and buy a product, and that product will arrive, and it'll just be completely different, and it's from China. So because of that, the trust is almost zero on there for purchases. So for conversions, I wouldn't even. But at first, I was excited about it. Now I'm just thinking I wouldn't bother trying to.
That's why I'm rather looking into influencers than actually us creating something, you know. And that's why I've told to these guys as well. I said, look, I'll rather hire creators to do something for us that already have a very good followers, and just do it like that. And talking about fake products, you know, those very expensive speakers from the Violet, if I say correctly. If you go in Harrods, there's a white speaker that just booms, and you can see all the internals and stuff like that. Well, anyway, it's a speaker that cost about $5,000. They were selling it, so there was an ad at some point on TikTok running, getting that speaker for $49.99, and he was showing like he was blasting, you know, glasses, you know, they're just breaking glasses and stuff like that. Loads of people ordered it. When it came, it was that tiny. And he was basically having, I don't know, maybe 2 watts RMS or so. It was very, very small, nothing like in the actual proper, you know, speaker and stuff like that.
I ordered this big inflatable airplane that you throw, and I was going to do it for Hidden Travel, right? Throw it when we launch, and it came. It's a fucking pool toy, yeah. It's like the wings are like little sausages, so it's obviously not going to fly. I was like, wankers. The video, it flies perfectly. So obviously I learned my lesson. There's another thing I ordered was a gimbal. This is ages ago. This is like months ago, and it finally came the other day. It was a selfie stick. So that a gimbal, if you know what a gimbal is, it like moves around.
Yeah. They're good. Yeah.
Selfie stick came. I was like, what even is that? I'm assuming it was the gimbal I paid for. So the point is, it's so untrustworthy right now for purchases that no one's going to be converted on there. In fact, it's actively laughed at. Right. Brand awareness campaigns, they're great. Yeah, like creating cool, fun content. Just the best thing any business can do right now is just be on there making content and having fun with it and learning how it works, because it'll change and it'll evolve. The same way that Instagram changed and evolved, same way Facebook did. That if you're not on it from the start, you're gonna have a nightmare trying to get used to it when it evolves. And right now, it's really easy to grow your account. You can just do a really boring piece of content that you would class as stupid, and it will get hundreds of thousands of views. I did one the other day; it had like 350,000 views, and it brought loads of people from Australia to my account, and they all followed. And like I've only got a very small following compared to most people on there, but it's worth trying to get used to it and grow now. Ads are probably not the best thing to be doing right now.
Yeah. But it's like you said, you know, you need to be funny on that platform. You need to be a bit different than the norm. So I think that's where, well, some people found it easy after they've tried and they've seen some success. But maybe for companies or brands, that's a bit tricky if they've always had a very conservative brand or I don't know, marketing approach and stuff like that.
I think cross posting as well. People forget that just because it's on TikTok doesn't mean it has to stay there. I generally cross post TikToks everywhere. My least favorite social platform is Twitter. It's the most boring and dead platform. I swear it's dying. It's been dying for years.
Yeah.
I only used it recently for a few weeks over the Apprentice was on, but I find it shit. But cross posting on like LinkedIn is fantastic because no one sees TikToks on LinkedIn. No one, and if you do it as a business, they go, "Why is he doing that?" Well, I get away with it because I'm the disruptive guy. Yeah. So I can do whatever the hell I want on LinkedIn, and people laugh at it now. Whereas most people go, "That's not appropriate on this platform."
What do you mean by crossbar? By using the same video that you put on TikTok and stick it on? Yeah, okay.
Take the content on TikTok, which would, you know, on TikTok there might be hundreds of thousands of videos the same. You put it on LinkedIn, there's only one. So like a video I might post, I do with these little £100 things. Like I'll put a video on TikTok, it might get 50,000 views, and I'll put it on LinkedIn and it'll have 12,000 views, and I'll put it on Instagram, it'll get another 12,000. And all of a sudden, this one little video for 100 quid had 70,000 views, and your company was tagged in everything, depending on what socials you had. And it's just worth it. Do you know what I mean? For what? For a sake of a 15-second video, that was a bit of fun to make.
Yeah.
It's hard what I'm doing with this crowdfunding because, for example, I've got to do one about I had to do one for health and safety. That was fucking so boring. But I did it, and that's one of my most viewed videos on TikTok now. It's like, what?
Really?
Yeah, I took this comedian talking about health and safety, and it's had this one that brought all the people from Australia across. It was an Australian comedian. So that works unbelievably. I don't know why. I still say it's one of the most boring videos. But I've got to do one after this, which is like security computer software. How can you make a security software TikTok? You know, I'm going to show you how. But the point is, it's boring, and you've got to try and make it fun. And that's part of the challenge, right? You've got to try and make it fun.
You got to be disruptive, like you said, completely out of the norm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know, like I don't know where it's going to go, what's going to happen with it, or if I'll ever get to that 6-figure total. But the point is, you know, if you don't try, you don't know. Like if I fail, who cares? Try. Yeah. We've made like 1,700 quid so far, so it's a good, strong start.
Yeah, definitely. But don't you think though, on the two things that you said are most difficult, like service-based products are a lot easier to make sound sexy and exciting. Services, whether it be even marketing, you know, whatever they are, it's not an easy thing to put across. And TikTok is one of those things you've got to grab somebody's attention. So I see a lot of people doing these, you know, videos where you're moving your hands up, and then of course they're then putting the sort of words over the top of it. Is that where you would go with a service-based sort of TikTok sort of video?
Unless you use TikTok, you won't understand what the trend, right? So TikTok has trends. TikTok, right? The best way to explain it is like a copycat platform, right? So the best way to get high view viz is that you look at what a trend is happening and you kind of replicate it, you make it your own, and you post it, and everyone watches it because it matches the sound or the hashtag or whatever. So that's like how everyone uses it, and that's where these stupid videos doing this come in, because everyone's copying and making it their own.
Yeah.
But then you can do like dances or lip syncs or whatever. So there's different types of content on there, and then like comedy skits. But then the best content is when you do a trend, you make it so much your own that it's completely different from everyone else's. Those videos do really, really well.
Right.
And that is just you having to think and get creative. So you see something and go, I can make something fun like this. Now, as like a service-based business or even a product-based business, you have to get in front of the camera. So that means that you can't be an anonymous business that just posts boring. It's about getting face on. It's about getting your staff involved. It's about getting the CEO involved. It's about putting faces to company names. So you can create fun content that reflects your brand. You can create fun content that showcases your staff, but there's no point using it unless you're willing to get in front of the camera, because it is very much handheld, film on your phone, have a laugh, and enjoy it. It's not this sort of perfected, pristine image that you project on Instagram or even on Facebook. It's none of that crap. It's real. And I think that's why people use it, and that's why people like it. But there are some businesses on there winning. O2 did one recently, which really annoyed me. O2 did this like robot dancing, and everyone had to copy it. It was a really shit effort as far as advertising goes. They took over the whole thing. They paid loads of influencers to recreate this dance. It got loads of reach and it got loads of views. But is it in line with what the app operates like and the values and behaviors of everyone else? Probably not. Was it really showcasing the business? No, it was a robot that was animated, dancing. Like, did it benefit the business in terms of building the brand? They probably got followers off the back of it, but did it really do what it's supposed to do? No. So it was probably this really expensive piece of marketing that was like put together by someone who has no idea how to use TikTok. 1,000%. They've just gone, oh look, people do dances. Let's use a robot, animate it, and make everyone do the dance. It's great, they'll do it. But the point is, will they buy into your service or products, or will they believe in the business brand values? Will they see any of your behaviors? Will they see your staff? No, none of that shit. So that's an example of someone really fucking it up. Yeah. And they don't even know they fucked it up yet. They just think they've probably got really good views and they think they've done really well, but actually what they've done is probably done the opposite of what they want.
I did. It's a prime point though for marketing anyway, isn't it? I mean, there's a lot of people think just put content out there, you know, whether it be TikTok or whatever platform. And there's a lot of people doing that, just whacking stuff out there because they think it's right. It just creates a lot of noise. There's a fucking lot of noise out there right now, isn't there? There's ad after ad. Facebook, for God's sake, you know, every three posts is a sponsored ad these days. And a lot of them, they're trying to be smart. They're trying to do something that's just grabbing people's attention. In fact, what I end up doing now is I end up hiding these things because I'm sick of seeing them all. And so it's becoming a little bit like junk. It's like junk advertising going on everywhere, isn't there?
Yeah. It's just uninspired and lazy. I hate the term automation as well. That pisses me off. If someone refers to marketing automation, I want to punch them, because the whole purpose of automation is to take effort out of the equation and make it easier to do lots of different things at once. But it shouldn't be, because actually the more you try and automate something, the less specific it gets. The whole purpose of marketing is to be as specific as possible and engage people personally and tailored to them and all this other crap. But that's best practice from like 5 years ago. Actually, looking ahead, it's not just that now. It's like, okay, how can you do it personally and directly, but also do it in a way which aligns with their core values, their behaviors, where they are in their life in terms of generationally, how they interact with things. For example, Gen Z take the piss out of advertisements. A lot of advertisers turn the comments off because they just get loads of abuse. Millennials are probably more open to it. Boomers are just like, yeah, I'll sign up for free Ellis pills. I'll get Viagra through the post. And they just fall for every fucking online scam going as well because they're so new to it.
Parents as well. I think people in their 50s and stuff like that.
Yeah, what's that? Gen Y and Boomers, that sort of generation. Yeah, they're just getting used to it, so they'll still fall for everything. So you got to. There's no just. I don't know. Automation is just a lazy way of working. It's definitely that term for me is outdated by at least 10 years. That was such a big focus a few years ago. And like everyone built these apps and platforms to do it, and it was a great way for some people to get rich off the back of it and get people to buy into it. But does it really help your business grow? Does it really help you cut through the noise if all you're trying to do is mitigate workload and try and, I don't know, it's just bollocks, to be honest.
That's an interesting little way to look at it. I mean, automation. Listen. I think if it's done right, Lewis, it's useful for smaller businesses. No, I clearly disagree with that.
I think Lewis. So automate the processes, but not the creation. So that's the thing. That's how I see it. Right. So the pointless processes, like the emails, follow-ups, and a few other things and stuff like that, but not the actual creation. That you cannot really automate that.
No, so I'm talking about like, okay, you write email marketing is one of them. Look at how shit, like how your company looks so crap when you just fire nonsensical emails built up over the course of somewhere in the bio journey. If they interact with the website, want to get an email, all that crap. The loyalty programs offering discounts that are useless and no one wants. Or you've got what's another example? The guy in content who's blogging about Pancake Day and Small Titty Tuesday and Easter and Christmas and all the other shit no one cares about, and creating loads of content on it because they've got this content plan they're trying to stick to, and then they got it all posting out on all these social platforms automatically. It's like, no, none of that crap's relevant. Like, how can you think that's good marketing? Like, it blows my mind how shit it can be. And yet I see some of the biggest companies in the world doing it on a daily basis. Do you know what? I love it though, because if they weren't doing this sort of stuff, there wouldn't be opportunity for like smaller businesses to win. So the more that I think it's with big companies more than anything, as they get bigger budgets, they just sort of go, yeah, we'll throw 20 grand into that and 10 grand into that. And we'll do a photo shoot. That'll cost 100 grand. And they start blowing money left, right, and center. And they just get lazy with it because actually I believe in this sort of scrappy marketing, looking at areas you can win and being agile, being nimble, maneuvering around other people and taking advantage of things they're not looking at, and always looking ahead at the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. If you're fast enough to jump on whatever's coming down the line, you'll win. It's just that simple. That's my opinion. But yeah, automation is not a word I like.
No, I could see that. You hide it well.
Yeah, it's just how can you automate something that's so personal and especially with the consumer buying behaviors and the evolution of their habits and how they shop. And look at March to now. Everyone was forced to stay indoors, had to go online. And the amount of companies that didn't even have a decent online presence, and it was like they couldn't convert any sales because they weren't ready for it. And they were like, well, we always see our customers face to face. And like, there you go, dickhead. Now you can't. So what are you going to do?
Yeah, that's true.
But if it wasn't for these companies that are like this, there'd be no work for me to do. So like, let them do it, and then we'll fix it. And then the next thing will come, and the next thing will come.
I think going a bit back to the automation, you also need to look at something. Talking about big companies, you cannot really multiply yourself, right, Lewis? So that's the problem over there. You can be the head of the marketing, but still the people that work under you, just like we talked before about having an agency, and having people working for you. It's quite difficult to have them feel the things or think about things just like you do. So that's why at some point they need to maybe take a compromise. And that's why I want to ask you, tell me a big company that's disruptive in your opinion.
Who do I like? Before I say that, I was going to say one thing. I like this thought, right? So look at every time your customer interacts with any part of your business, any touch point at all, email, letters, website, whether they drive past your windows and they look in, whatever it is, Like any single touch point that you have with your potential customers, are you adding value? Like, what are you giving them? Like, what value do they get from it? If you go and you find you've written a blog post about Pancake Tuesday and you're trying to sell a gym membership, right? probably not giving any value to that. So you can just scrap that shit out. Anything where you don't add value is irrelevant, and therefore don't bother with it. And personal as well, tailor it to certain. Don't just do a one blanket approach. Like if you got email marketing, segment it into certain types of customers that you have. You know, the guys that are older that go for these. And also, one thing that really winds me up: just because someone buys on your website doesn't mean they're going to be the end user. Like people forget the consumer and the customer are very different. Like for example. I'm going on a tangent now, but okay. Like we're talking kids' toys, yeah. Your advertising might be targeting the consumer, the customer is the parents. So how are you going to get across to them like the benefits of the toy to the parents that they'll buy it, but also excite the kids and look at like a lot of toy companies quite easy because loads of them do that. But the point is, other industries don't. So like customers and consumers are very different. The question you had then, I've just forgotten it.
It was a big brand that you think is disruptive, or a big brand that you like and.
Big brand that I like. Do you know what? I used to really like GoPro, just because it was real, right? I'm saying I used to because I haven't seen anything in ages.
No, I don't really hear anything from them now, do you?
They just released the GoPro 9 basically a few days ago. Yeah,
GoPro 9, really?
Yeah, do you remember how on the ball they were with stuff? And it was all real, and it was like showing real people doing real things, and the videos were all shot by real people. Like iPhone advertisements are quite good on billboards. It's like this picture was shot by Jamie in Liverpool on his iPhone, whatever, and it shows the quality. It's no longer going like, do you know what? It's brands that display their core values and align themselves with the customers, and the customers buy into that on a passionate level. It's a passion. It's not logical. It's buying because they want to be a part of it because it aligns with their core values. Obviously everyone uses Apple as an example. Red Bull used to be the same. GoPro used to be the same. They were great at what they did. Now trying to think of anyone that I've seen that's really standing out to me as disruptive.
I mean, to be fair, you were talking about TikTok, but the adverts they did on television, at the beginning of or just at the beginning of lockdown was pretty smart. It was a very smart move of theirs to do that, which was showing a lot of people doing their own videos, in essence, just using everybody else's content, wasn't it?
Well, let's take TikTok then as an example. So their ethos is what is it now? I can't remember the brand slogan. It's something like for the ads, for example, it's make TikToks not ads. So that's their slogan for advertisement. But for the brand, it's something like spread creativity and joy or something like that. That's all they believe in is making. It's not like we believe in you guys doing stupid shit on our platform. It's like we want to make you enjoy yourselves and just spread positivity. That's their message, and people buy into that on a granular level. People buy into that, and it really aligns with what they want to do. They go, you know what? I want to be a part of that. I like, or maybe I've noticed quite a lot of people on there. Are people that have got mental health issues and they go there for support, and it's a very supportive network, and the comments are very rarely negative, and if they are negative, the person being a prick always gets slated. So it's very, very different in terms of other social platforms. Facebook was very much just like stay connected with your friends and family. Instagram was just be like try and make your neighbor jealous. I don't know what their slogan is, but the point is like that's just what it became, this sort of place where you can be almost the biggest prick in the world in one place. That's what Instagram became, didn't it? Like everyone's trying to make themselves appear rich. I don't understand how they're all so rich.
That's absolutely that. I mean, the influencer world is full of fake influencers. They're all sat on people's cars. They're all wearing designer clothes. It's that's
why it's quite good because they do a mockery of those things. So sometimes you see, I've seen loads of videos recently where there were a nice couple taking a photo, or someone was taking photos of them on really nice cars, and the owner of the car was coming and just basically pushing them or tell them, "Can you please move aside?" They would say, "No, fuck off," and then they would just basically unlocking the car, tell them, "You fuck off, it's my car," and stuff like that. So I think TikTok is really good from that point of view. It's fun.
I think with Instagram, it has its place. Mine are just pictures of me in the gym, like with a filter on it, or if something exciting happens, to take a picture of it. But really, I don't use that much anymore because I'm not really doing that. I'm stuck in the house working 9 to 5, so really, I'm not really out doing fun stuff anymore. But when I go with hidden travel, I'll probably take loads of cool pictures and share them because they're nice to look at. It's aesthetically pleasing. Whereas TikTok is just like just have fun with it. Do you know what I mean? If people watch it, they watch it. They don't, they don't. It's just as long as you're having fun, and that's the main reason for creating that type of content. And it's very different to anything I've experienced before in terms of content creation.
Definitely. definitely. I mean, I've done a couple of little videos on there, and I've definitely got to play about with it a lot more. And I think you're absolutely right. I mean, you're actually making me want to do a lot more, sort of just let myself go a little bit more, because I think sometimes, and I'm quite an outgoing guy. I'm pretty confident. I think Adrian would probably agree with that. That I've definitely got a stupid side, but I've always got quite a serious side and stressful fucking side as well. Yeah. But sometimes when it comes to the business, you sort of think you've got to put this sort of almost business and professional sort of front on. It's a head fuck. When you try and do that, you're actually clashing with your own personality. And when you do it, I've said so many times, haven't I, that I literally put a line in the lawn doing videos when I first started doing them, because I'm just doing the same one over and over again, trying to be somebody I'm not. In the end, just go, fuck it, I'm just going to be me. And that's what works, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think all the other platforms, that's why they try to make you in a way, just to look or to act like the person that you're not, you aren't, and that's why TikTok is quite good, because you can be yourself.
Yeah, I think the content that is going out, first, we'll keep talking about TikTok, but the content that's going out there is real, and it's you. And yeah, you can mess around and do copycat videos and stuff, but realistically, it's you looking at it in front of a camera. And I think that's why people engage with that content more, because you don't really see that often. You never really see people just being themselves. And like you said, in the workplace, you have a work voice, you have an interview. Do you know what? I go into an interview. I got offered an interview for a director, a really high salary. Obviously, I'm working myself for fuck all now. Like, I'm literally.
we love that shit, don't we?
It's ridiculous. Like, I'm actually paying myself nothing, earning nothing, and just surviving. Like, it's ridiculous. But I got offered like quite a decent amount of money to go for this interview, and I just said, you know what? I said, nah, I'm not going to go for it. I went, I'm not sitting there while some prick tries to judge me and tries to fight, because a lot of time. I found that people get insecure around me as well, and they got to try and prove themselves. Like, so they got to I'm smarter than you sort of thing. And I just hate that situation where I'm just like, I don't want to work for you. You don't like me. Let's just end it sort of thing. But I've always been just me in an interview, right? It's just unapologetically me. There's sometimes I come out of it and they go, wow, that was weird. And I go, that was quite a weird interview, weren't it? Like, so I know I'm not everyone's cup of tea, but some people will pretend to be there. They put the professional face on, the professional voice. They'll be trying to impress. But why would you bother doing all that shit if when you get into the job, you're not going to maintain that? Different. Yeah, well, if you don't maintain that, they're going to think you're different. You're going to hate them because you were trying to get in. It wasn't right for you. So it's just pointless. And then you got a telephone voice, and you got that, hi, Sandra, what have you got for dinner today sort of voice. Do you know what I mean?
Sandra,
like,
really pissed me off at some point. I get that.
so what? I don't know. I think a lot of people feel that's just the way you have to do things. And I think you get taught that from a very young age. And it's a shame, really, because a lot of people are afraid to be themselves, especially for fear of reprisal as well. They fear that if they do something online, their boss might come knock on their door and be like, what the fuck are you doing? You're a director. I know a guy who on my LinkedIn, he's quite a high director, but on TikTok, he dresses up as who's he dressed up as? Mario, like of Super Mario. And he just talks in a stupid voice and bakes pizzas and he's like 45 years old and he's like a director. Like, how would you explain that in the office? Do you know what I mean? I get away with it, but he's like a serious dude. And he's like Mario, Luigi, like running around baking pizza and throwing pizza off bridges and stuff. Like 45 years old. His name, by the way, if I'm checking out, is called Super Lit Mario on TikTok. But yeah,
talking about that, there is a guy in Essex. I'm not sure if you know about it, and I've seen an article, the GIMP of Essex or something like that. So if you guys know what the GIMP is, I didn't know until I've seen it. So the guy is all in latex and with a mask and all that, and he offers emotional support to people on TikTok. It's quite funny.
I love that. And I can tell you right now, it's not me. Okay,
I was going to say, I know a guy.
yeah.
It goes that way.
I don't live in UK anymore, but yeah, he's in his 50s, something like that. You could see that quite obvious. He has a bit of belly, but he obviously all that black latex suit on him. He has absolutely no problem. He goes like that out in towns, in buses, and people started recognizing him. And he started that just at the beginning of COVID. So yeah, you just see for people like that things work, and it started with TikTok. Yeah, that's.
Well, I tell you what, wearing a mask like that will get you noticed walking into shops, wouldn't it?
Well, exactly. I was going to say, interestingly, about I know we keep talking about TikTok, but there's so many things that are in there that are quite interesting right now. So TikTok allows you to link to two social profiles. One of them is Instagram, and the other one is YouTube. So actually, what I've noticed TikTok is doing is it's starting to rejig YouTube again and give it a bit of that boost again, where people have started vlogging. You know, they're getting followings on TikTok. They started vlogging on YouTube again. Instagram will naturally grow. I've seen followers coming from other countries which only coming through TikTok. They know the way they're finding me. So if you want to grow your Instagram, make TikTok. If you want to, I would say if you're looking at content to look what you should be looking at in the future, well, I'd be looking at YouTube again, because if all these young kids are starting to use it again, well, it'll become cool again. Yeah. And YouTube themselves are already adapting the way in which they work, creating like Facebook, YouTube Watch, like short clips. And yeah, it's very interesting to watch, because why would they connect to YouTube? Like, why would they do that? Why would they send people from their app to YouTube?
And ultimately, it's not the easiest to get people to anymore, is it? Because you've got the big boys that are earning good money, and they've got all the tags and they know what they're doing, and it's a really complex platform to use. But you're absolutely right. And I've spoken to somebody else, Matt State, who's been doing TikTok for the last year or so, and he said if you use it to drive traffic, because it's very useful. And in fact, I'm definitely going to be rethinking what we do, and we've got loads of clips from this show alone, which would be great clips to use on TikTok, and can feed to both Instagram and YouTube as well. Listen, I want to ask you about your hidden travel. Yeah. Go on, tell us about hidden travel, because we've been talking about the marketing side, but I mean I'm intrigued to find out, because this is not an easy market to have just got into, mate, is it? Let's face it.
I am trying to start a travel company during a global pandemic, when the travel has been the most restricted it's been since World War II.
Good choice.
We're on the precipice of a recession. Fucking fantastic. Do you know what? Right, I've been sat here doing the business plan all day. That's what I've been doing. I wrote this business plan. We're talking like nearly 2 years ago. It's 2019. So like December 2019, I wrote it.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is like old, and this went on the show, and then obviously I've not rewritten it since, but I need to at the moment, because I need to redo it for something we're doing. And I'm having to update it, but looking through it, the previous worries and the threats and the issues we were having were Brexit and the worries about whether the pound is going to go up or down.
Yeah. Well, that seems like a real minimal
what happened to Brexit? Like, no one gives a shit about that anymore.
What the fuck was Brexit?
No, in the past it was like, no, we want to stay part of the EU. Now we're like, nah, fucking EU, stay away. Like, leave us alone. Like, so it's so interesting that looking through the report, because I've obviously got a lot of industry reports as well, and like it's talking about in 2018 people started traveling more, and the behaviors and the consumer behaviors were all changing, right? And they are still, don't get me wrong, but what millennials wanted and what Gen Z are going to look for. And the best part about this is it's the same as everything else I've ever done. I'm looking at it and going, okay, that's what everyone else is doing. Well, how can we be better? What's happening next? And just because they're massive companies does not mean they're looking ahead. And even more interesting is obviously coronavirus hits some of the biggest competitors that I had down. Well, first off, Thomas Cook is still in my SWOT analysis.
Yeah.
So I was predicting they were going to go out of business in the business plan. And then that happened like a year ago. I noticed that was going to happen, and it did. It went exactly the way I said it was going to happen.
For obvious reasons with their structure, though, it was never going to be sustainable like that, was it?
Well, I think it's not just that, but it's also the buyer behavior. What people want is they're not being met anymore, and it's because again they've rested on their laurels for so long that people would buy it because that was just the way it is. But actually, they want more, and now with the access to the internet, they can go and find that if they want. So and I think a lot of people are willing to take risks and go with smaller businesses, or book it on their own and just take the risk that they're going to find it and struggle or whatever. So that's the problem with Thomas Cook. They always had this sort of monopoly on the market. STA Travel, that was another one in my SWOT analysis. That's also gone bust. So some of the biggest threats and things that we were going to go up against are not threats anymore. Then obviously with coronavirus, that in itself is a huge threat. But actually, I said to Luke, I expect us to go into second lockdown over Christmas period. I expect, like I said, end of October and November, December time, because I was reading some reports about as the flu naturally rises. You'd expect that to do the same. Yeah. So, and going into that season, I said, I'd like to do the launch before that happens. And I'd like us to run the first trip around April, May, June. So I think it was looking at June. So we knew we'd be very safely out the other side of it. Yeah. And it's very unlikely to happen at that point in a lockdown. And I said, what we'll do is we'll make sure that no matter what anyone buys from us, they get 100% refund if anything doesn't happen. So we don't spend any of their money. It goes into a trust account. And we found a company to work with to do that. So it allowed us to create this business. We've been sat watching. We spent a lot of time preparing. The idea came because I'd spent so many years working abroad, and I'd seen how boring it had become, and how, again, uninspired the travel market and the businesses that were operating in that market were. How inflexible they were. They work on volume. Okay, let me talk you through it. So you arrive in resort. We'll take Thomas Cook because they're not around. So Thomas Cook, you arrive in resort on there. You're on a packed plane that's probably late because there's not that many flights on, because they haven't got that many planes in the air, because it costs loads of money. So therefore, they try and cut the cost there. Then you get on your plane after probably a delay. But if you're not, you're going to get quite lucky. You get to resort and you're the first one out. You go to your coach, and then there's always like an old couple that take the piss, and they've lost a suitcase, and they take fucking 3 years to come out of the airport, and you're sat on that coach, hating life in the sweltering heat, wanting to get to resort. So the reason that happens is because they're trying to get more people on coaches, right? Because they're trying to save cost. You never notice you ever notice that the driver's always pissed off, and he's got a fag in his mouth, and he's always shouting and swearing and throwing suitcases around. It's because he's not getting paid a lot of money, and he knows he's got to go somewhere else to make that money up, and then he's pissed off. The reps jump on, they jump off. Like, there's not enough of them guys around. You get to resort, you drive around the whole resort first. Your hotel's last, typical. You've got 15 stops.
Yeah.
Because again, they only use one coach. So actually, the whole model in most of these tour operators were budget, cheap, package holidays, save the customer money. You know, that doesn't happen out of nowhere. They have to save money elsewhere, right? So that's why there's less coaches. That's why there's less flights. That's why you got to wait longer. That's why the Spanish driver's pissed off. That's why when you get to resort, the same shit foods on the buffet, whether it's 5-star or 3-star, because the hotels can't afford to buy nice food because they're not getting paid enough. So it's just
a knock-on effect, isn't it?
It's this race to the bottom to offer the shittest holiday possible, and everyone's doing it. And then the guests come home and go, "I had a great week." It's like, did you? Like, did you really?
Did you really?
And it's like they forget about all the shit that happened. Or like, I don't know. Like, so there's this sort of consistent revolution of guests and working on volumes. They come to resort, they go out. They come to resort, they go out, and they go through the same process. Monday bar crawl, Tuesday beach party, Wednesday booze cruise. And I just thought, this is fucking stupid. And the only ones that were doing it differently were the ones that were bespoke, very expensive holidays, almost luxury. And a lot of people can't afford that. And I had experience with that sort of tour operator when I was working in ski resorts, and it was unbelievable. It was like this next level, and it was this extra service, like just having a minibus pick you up in the morning and take you to the ski slope instead of if you're with Nielsen, you'd have to like put your boots on and walk like a mile down the road, slip on your ass, drag the kids, shout and scream, and then try and squish on a ski bus to get you to the mountain. So it's just it's just like a tiny detail. Yeah. But the reason it's there is because they charge more, but you got more for it. So I said, I want to redo youth travel. And there's nothing really there right now anyway. There's like Thomas Cook closed down. That did youth holidays, like 1830 holidays, but that was dying out on its ass. And this party atmosphere, this going to Magaluf and getting so pissed that you shit yourself in a bar sort of thing isn't cool anymore. So it needed a bit of life. It needed to be reimagined, and that's what we're doing. So we're not just trying to target people who want to get pissed. We're going a little bit older, 21 to 35. I say 25 to 35, but really 21 to 35. Young professionals, people that maybe wanted to travel when they were younger, and then didn't, and then rushed into a career, and now they try and experience that sort of travel and that opulence and escape through holidays, and they're willing to pay a bit more. You know, they might buy brands. There's a reason why they buy Gucci belts or Yves Saint Laurent handbags. They'll save up for it because they want to have the nice things.
Yeah, makes sense.
They can afford it, but it's not like they have loads of money. So we're targeting that market of people that, you know, they want a bit nicer. They've done the whole party like lads on tour sort of thing, and now they're looking to hang around people their own age, but they don't want to go and book a hotel, which is really nice, but they're going to have kids running around the pool and like screaming and shouting all day long. And every 5 minutes, they got the entertainment guys doing fucking baby shark dances. Do you know what I mean? And just how can we provide that experience to them? So it's hard to explain it, but that's basically what we're doing. It's through personal experience.
Why 30? Why stop at 35? I mean, I'm 11 years older than that, but I still mix with friends of those ages. I'm just curious. I mean, is that that's your ideal demographic age range? I take it.
Yeah, it's because I think 20, 25. I say 21 to 35. Those guys will still want to go out and get pissed. You know, they'll still make silly mistakes like do all-nighters and go to work the next day and struggle through like they're still young. Like they still feel like. And I think when you get to 35, you start having more commitments and things like that. So you sort of start thinking things through a bit more and going, actually, is this a good idea?
Yeah, right. I get that.
I feel like 35, you start to realize that you've got a bit more commitment and you've got to be a bit more sensible. And you're not going to be able to run around with like 18-year-olds and get away with it like without standing out. Yeah, I'm always at 30. But the point is that's why I capped it at that point, because I thought the young professionals, I think, like, don't get me wrong, you can still come away with this if you're older. But the point is, the older ones will probably more likely to go for one of the more designed, bespoke holiday companies I'm talking about, and the ones that pay a bit more money. Because at 35 onwards, you've probably got a bit more cash than a 25-year-old. Do you know what I mean? So you can probably afford a bit more.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense.
Pretty much the rationale behind it. There was no real like, once you get past 35-year-old, it wasn't that at all. It was just, is someone who's nearly 40 going to want to hang out with someone who's 21? Probably not. Are they going to put a backpack on and go in hiking through this jungle and like, I don't know, after a night out on the piss? Probably not. Like, so it was just trying to keep the demographics nice and niche so we could just target them mainly for marketing purposes.
Yeah, and which is the reason I was asking, because there's always people outside of your demographics that you're aiming for, but it's good to know your ideal rather than there's always going to be people like me that are outside the norm. I mean, I still feel I'm 18 and friends of 18, 21 that I would still go partying all night with. So, but that's me. I mean,
but this is it. You won't be the majority anymore.
No, that's it. Thanks for that.
But so like, don't get me wrong, I'll be that guy. I'll be the one that's still out partying all the time because I don't think I'll ever grow up. But I know that at 30 now, I've got friends who they wouldn't want to go clubbing anymore. They wouldn't want to go get pissed all night and I'm 30 and my mates won't do that now, like, because they've got kids or they've settled down with their husband, their wives and stuff. So yeah, I'm already seeing that now. So it's not because we don't want older people. It's just because it's easier to have the majority than try and target the minority and waste all that marketing budget trying to get just a few people in there.
Well, listen, next time I'm up in Manchester, mate, I'll let you know because we're doing all nighter. Yeah.
Well, I'd say 25 to 35 is probably my actual ideal. I say 21 because some 21-year-olds do have some cash. Like now, the problem you've got is trying to nail down who's what, because there's loads of younger people that have their own businesses and might be social influencers, might have an OnlyFans account and make 10 grand a month. Like, there's loads of young people with new money and they're looking to spend it. And there's nothing. I tell you what, there's fucking nothing for them. There's probably one other competitor that I'm aware of at the moment. That is, they've been around for years. They've always been a very, very luxury carrier. They're actually called carrier, but they've always been like luxury. So for them to target some younger person with new money and say we're premium, and they look at their photos and their marketing assets, and you see all these fucking 50-year-olds, it looks like a Saga holiday. So you're like, are you just saying that because you can do it? Just because you can do it doesn't mean your brand will attract them. So we're branding.
That's down to your messaging and stuff, isn't it? It's down to being clear about what you do. That's their market, but just of course, I get that. I get that.
Yeah, we're basically, I'm building the holidays that I aspire to go on, and we're doing it in a way that it's not going to be 10 grand a week. It's going to be reasonable. It's going to be not too expensive. It's going to be not much more than what you'd expect to pay with like a big tour operator like TUI or whoever. So it's just, it will cost more, but you'll notice the difference. Do you know what I mean? You'll come back and go, fucking hell, that was awesome. Even the moment your tickets arrive through the post, you'd notice the difference. Like just the things that like every little detail, we made it better.
I like that.
That's I think you're building a whole experience, not just another fucking travel or another holiday. And it's interesting saying that, just because me and Elliot, we know someone that has an experienced travel company, which is no experience in my opinion, but we've seen that.
Well, I think this is it. I'm building a brand. I'm not building a travel company. We're just going to happen to do travel. But already I've had people message me going, oh my God, I love your branding. I love, like, when can I book? Do you do honeymoons? And I'm like, what makes you think from my landing page online that we would be great at that? And they go, I can just tell that like, and that's just from no marketing and me talking about it and explaining how it is. It will almost feel like it's the one place you need to go for this thing. But it's not. Like, you can book these same holidays with anyone, right? But it's actually what we bring to the table, what our brand encompasses, what you will feel like when you're there. It's not what you get, it's what you feel like and how you feel, and all the extra thought and detail that's been put into it. You would notice that difference. And you can't copy a brand. You can copy a product though.
Yeah. I mean, I think what I quite liked, and is that point from the literally the tickets or whatever that you receive. that should be a special moment rather than just being something simple, shouldn't it? And I think if that's the way you're going to go move forward, then you're absolutely going to smash it. Listen, mate, I feel we could talk for bloody hours on all sorts of different subjects. But where can people find Hidden Travel, and also where can they find you elsewhere, Lewis?
Yeah, I mean, the easiest place to find me is LinkedIn, or I'm very, very active on everything. So no matter what you add me on or message me on, I will see it. Whether I reply or not is a different matter. So I see every message that comes through every social media channel, but a lot of the time, I'll read them, but I don't reply to everyone. But yeah, so any channel, anywhere, just hit me, Lewis Ellis. But then for Hidden Travel, it's quite easy. It's hiddentravel.com or Hussel Marketing, hussel.co.uk. Check them out. They're quite weird. Hussel spelt wrong as well, Hussel.
Yeah.
So check them out if anyone wants to find out about marketing or just a travel company that's doing things differently. It's very interesting to see if we can launch right now because, in the last decade, some of the most successful, strong companies came and were born out of a recession.
They
were
were
the lowest points in the economy. So actually, I'm very, very hopeful that if we can make it work now, we'll be fucking unstoppable for the next 10 years.
I love that. Absolutely love that. Mate, I wish you all the best. I don't think you need that, to be fair, because you make shit happen. So, but mate, highly entertaining. What a great. Thank you very much for coming on.
No worries. Hopefully, it's been interesting and I've not been too serious. But yeah.
Definitely not been too serious. We've definitely kept the flow going, and I've really enjoyed every minute of it, my friend.
No worries. Cheers for having me on, guys. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks very much. Listen, if you want to know more about Lewis, we've got or I should say that's the royal we. Adrian's dropped some links into all of the profiles by the looks of it. So you can find Lewis there. I absolutely recommend you follow Lewis because he's very entertaining. He's got some great stuff. But pick up some tips from TikTok. I think we've definitely covered some of that subject today. Big love to you all. Thank you very much again, Lewis. Of course, Adrian, my wonderful co-host. Thanks for joining me again this evening. If you want to know what else is going on Essex Business Radio and the guests we've got coming on the show, I'm actually not going to be in the studio tomorrow. So this is going to be a first. I'm actually going to be in a hotel somewhere with a client for the next couple of days. So we'll see how that's going to work. I'm going to be doing a Lewis, I think, and having a green screen. So we're going to see how that cracks on tomorrow. Wish me luck with that, guys. I'm hoping my reception is going to be okay. So we'll be seeing you tomorrow with a guest. Check out tomorrow's posts on Facebook. Thanks very much for watching us. If you don't know already, these will be turned into audio podcasts. And we will, I know I've been saying it for a while, we will be putting these up over the next month. Keep an eye out. There's a reason for it. Otherwise, you can check us out on all social media, Essex Business Radio, apart from Twitter, which is Essex Biz, BIZZ Radio. Adrian, how have you thought the show's been this evening with our very, very entertaining, energetic guest?
That's exactly how I thought about the show. Entertaining. I think that's the word that defines the show from tonight. And it's been very good to see. Entertaining and disruptive in the same time. Just like Lewis said, it's those two words combined. I think they are the main words of this show.
Definitely. Listen, Lewis, I would love you to come back at some stage. I think we could get you on with another guest, and I think we could really shake shit up with a couple of people. So maybe we'll do that if you're up for it.
Yeah, man, anytime.
Good stuff. All right. Well, listen, I'm going to take you off the screen for a second. Lewis, stay in the green room, or we'll just have a quick chat before you go, unless you have to shoot.
No, it's fine. Yeah.
Okay. Bear with me a second. What a great guest, Adrian. We definitely want more guests like that for sure, don't we?
Yeah. Definitely it wasn't boring at all. So yeah, and a good, let's say it's a very good to see a fresh mind,
Yeah, definitely. And if you want to be a guest, then we absolutely urge you to go over to the Facebook business page for Essex Business Radio and click on send a message and then tap on get on a show. There's be a few questions that Elliot Bot will take you through. And if you answer those and you're a good fit for the show, then we're going to get you on. We're doing bookings for October now, and we've got slots we're just about to release. So let us know. Otherwise, we're going to say ciao for now.
Brown cow.